Okay, so in this lecture, we are going to talk about one very important theorem given by Fermat, which is called the Fermat's Little Theorem. Fermat's Little Theorem. Clear? And according to Fermat's Little Theorem, a to the power p is congruent to a mod p. Clear? Where a belongs to the set of integers and p is a prime number. Am I clear? So this is Fermat's Little Theorem, and what we are going to do here is that we are going to prove this using group theory. Okay, so we are going to prove using group theory. Clear? So basically proving this using group theory will also help you understand certain facts of group theory with ease. So let's start. To understand the proof of this particular theorem, we first need to understand what is Lagrange's theorem. Okay, so Lagrange's theorem, this says that if there is a subgroup H of some group G, then the order of H will divide the order of G. That is, order of a subgroup will divide the order of the group. This is what Lagrange's theorem means in simple words. Okay. Now there is a corollary to this theorem. Okay. What is that corollary? So if A belongs to G, one more thing, keep this in mind that G is finite. Clear? G is finite. H is also finite. We are talking about finite groups at this moment. Am I clear? So we have some A belongs to G where G is finite and the order of A is also finite. What happens is that the order of A will divide the order of G. Clear? Now why is this a corollary to Lagrange's theorem? See, we know if there exists some H which is a cyclic group of A, then what happens is that the order of A is equals to order of the subgroup, or the cyclic group rather. Now if there is some element A which belongs to G, and we actually kind of find out a subgroup of G which is generated by A, then that subgroup will be that group will be a subgroup of G. I'm very sorry. I mean, we take an arbitrary element from G and we consider a group which is a cyclic group generated by that particular element. So what happens is that that particular cyclic group is basically a subgroup of G because it is generated by an element of G. Clear? So from here what do we have? That order of H will divide the order of G, and order of H equals the order of its generator. So order of A divides order of G. Clear? Okay. So from here we can write that order of G is equals to m times order of A. Clear? Order of G is equals to m times order of A. Okay. Now if we raise both the sides to the power A, so we get A to the power order of G is equals to A to the power order of A times m. So from here we get A to the power order of G is equals to A to the power order of A whole to the power m. So A to the power order of A is equals to E. So this part is E, and E to the power m is equals to E. So from here we get A to the power order of G is equals to E. Okay, what is E? E is the identity in the group G. Okay, up till this much is clear. So we will basically use this fact to prove the Euler's totient function theorem. Euler's totient function or the phi function theorem. Okay, so Euler's totient function theorem simply says that A to the power phi n is congruent to 1 mod n, where n is a positive integer and GCD of A and N is 1. That is, A is the set, A are the elements which are co-prime to N. Clear? A is the element which is co-prime to N. Okay, so how can we actually prove this? So proving this is actually quite, a corollary of this particular theorem. I'm telling you the reason behind it. You can prove it yourself also, that the group of elements of phi n for some n belongs to positive integers form a group under multiplication mod n. Clear? Under multiplication mod n. Okay, I'm not proving this right in this video, you can prove it yourself, it is quite easy to prove. Okay, see, the identity will actually exist as 1. Clear? Closure property, you can prove it yourself, that is, if GCD of A and N is 1, GCD of B and N is 1, then you can easily get an element AB such that GCD of AB and N will also be 1, because phi n consists of elements which are co-prime to N and below N, right? So in this way you can prove the closure property, the identity existence. You can also prove the inverse wala property also. To prove the inverse wala property, you need to understand a little about Béjot's lemma. Basically what happens, if you have RA is 1 mod n, okay, then what happens is that you can write RA as some 1 plus nk, right? Okay, 1 plus nk. Clear? So from here you can do that RA minus nk is equals to 1. Okay, so RA plus n times minus k is equals to 1. So you can use Béjot's lemma here. Béjot's lemma. So considering A as an arbitrary integer and minus k as an arbitrary integer, you can easily prove the GCD of R and N is 1. Am I clear? So existence, so since that existence elements as R times A is giving you 1, will actually say that GCD of R and N is 1. So your R will basically belong to the phi function group, phi function set rather. Okay, so basically this phi n forms a group under multiplication mod n, and if so, what happens is that you can replace G with phi n, I'm sorry. So this will give you 1, actually should give you 1, because 1 is the identity here. Now if you divide both sides by n and you understand it with the modular theorem in the consideration, so you can easily write that a to the power phi n is congruent to 1 mod n. Clear? Is congruent to 1 mod n. This is also one way of writing the modular form. Am I clear? Now what happens is that if n is equals to p, where p is some prime number, so your phi p becomes p minus 1. The reason behind it is that all numbers, or rather integers, below p, that is 1, 2 and up till p minus 1, are co-prime to p. Clear? That is the reason that phi p is p minus 1. And if phi p is p minus 1, so we can easily write that a to the power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod p. So here you get an A inverse which you bring to the other side of the congruency. So a to the power p is A mod p, and that is your Fermat's little theorem. Am I clear? So this is all about this lecture, guys. I hope you understood the video. In the next lecture we might be talking about some more concepts. Meet you guys in the next lecture.